Kiss of the Spider Woman actually is about a prisoner who gets thrown in a cell with a prisoner who's been there for molestation. And the other prisoner is part of the revolution in Argentina and fighting for the revolution. And it's these two worlds colliding. And so these two men who are from opposite worlds of the spectrum all of a sudden are now living in an 8x8 place and having to live together, yet alone, share their lives together. And it's all about actually understanding the other person and understanding the worlds that they come from, appreciating those worlds, and then ultimately helping each other to survive and how they do survive, and giving one's life for the survival of the other.
Eric has really tried to strip away all of the big Vegas-y show business elements of the production, and he's really kind of taken this show that was so huge on Broadway and really contained it and brought it back to what the novel is, which is just a conversation between two people, and really kind of focus in on that.
Their friendship really becomes a deep, loving friendship that they end up doing anything, and that includes, you know, one of them getting killed for trying to actually save this guy's life. It's about family, it's about revolution, it's about the system, and it's also about power and greed, which is really interesting because you look at the social class systems and it deals with that. So it has a little bit of everything, but it's at heart, it's about the human condition and the human connection between these two people and how they grow to understand each other, appreciate each other, and really become the best friends.
I want you to promise me something.
One of the things I think that is so great about Signature is that it takes glitzy glamour shows and makes them a little dirty, and there's a rawness to it, and Eric and Karma and John Kay are all working together to make it kind of messy. And the show, it's a beautiful sounding show, but it's not a beautiful topic.
And what's interesting is, you know, people say, who's the Spider Woman? What is the Spider Woman? And actually, you know, the Spider Woman is a character that Melina brings to life. And her name's Aurora, and she's starred in these films. And he makes up movies that she should star in his mind to survive the prison life. So he makes up these fanciful movies that are just, you know, so out there and saying, you know, what his philosophy is, and if she was starring in, this is what her number would be. So there are these great fantasy musical theater sequences.
So there's a scene called Gimme, and the director asked that she be in feathers, that I incorporate feathers somehow. So I looked at some images of Joan Crawford, and I found a great piece of research with a velvet gown, a velvet coat with a feather collar. So this was one of the more simple garments in the show because we found a wonderful velvet coat that we bought. I went to a feather vendor in New York with my research, and he sold me this. We sewed on a piece of wire to control the shape and made a lapel for the coat. So this goes on the coat.
We've choreographed one thing in the studio, in our rehearsal space, because it's flat. We're working on Marley. Then we transfer from here onto the stage. The stage is many levels. It's 3 floors. There are a variety of stairs. So even though we have everything taped out in the rehearsal space, right now we pretend like we're walking down the stairs and then we walk back up. And when we actually get on it, it might be very, very different.
The way the set's designed, it's this whole environmental unit that you actually are in the prison cell the entire night, and so you can't escape. And so prisoners are constantly like banging on their cells and banging their mugs and throwing shoes, and you get a real taste of the real prison life in Argentina, which I think was really, really important because of the torture and everything else that was going on then. So that's an ever presence in the actual production.